Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the new M5 Vision Pro. It starts at $3,499 just like last time, and you can go up to about $4,000. So you have a 256, 512, and 1 terabyte option. This is the one in the middle at 512, and you can see on the back here that it actually says M5 chip, 512 gigabyte. So let's go ahead and open it up. And to be honest, I actually use the Vision Pro almost every day to work on notes and things like that, and I connect it to my Mac. So let's go ahead and open it up here. So on the side, we'll pull this pull tab, just like that. Let's flip this over and we'll take a look at the other side here. Again, just pull the pull tab here. There we are, and then we'll open it up. So this is a huge box that it comes in. There we go. So the box, the top half of the box is just huge if you haven't seen this before. And then here's the Vision Pro with the new strap on top. So we'll take a closer look at that in a moment, but you can see there's the Vision Pro, and we'll unclip this, unclip the back here, and then take out the insert that's in here. Now let's take this cover off first, see what we get in the box here. So it says Vision Pro, designed by Apple in California. So of course, just like last time, looks mostly the same, but let's take a look here. So it says Vision Pro, and then we have a booklet with possibly some updated pictures and the dual knit band information. So you can see that here, and how to adjust it, how it works, and everything else. Then we've got a polishing cloth included, and then a little warranty card, it looks like, behind that. So this says polishing cloth. We'll open it here. And this is the polishing cloth you get with it, of course, to clean the lenses. So let's set this aside. Then here it says designed by Apple in California. This is the additional cushion that you get in here. So this goes around the front of it. So if we undo this like that, you'll see here's the cushion that comes in the box. So you've got that. If you want the W Plus option for the cushion, you have that. And then also, of course, we've got our power bank here, or our battery power. So this is what we had the same as last year, but it actually has a little bit extra battery life this year at 2.5 hours or so. So let's go ahead and take this out since we need this in order to use it. So we'll remove that here. There we go. So that's what we've got here. Let's undo this. So also included in order to charge it is USB-C to USB-C, it looks like. And this is a braided cable just like last year. You can see here. And then we have Apple's new 40 to 60 watt adapter, it looks like. So this is the new one, which I actually don't have one of these yet. So 40 to 60 watt adapter, you can see it here. And that just folds down like that if you want to use it. And that gives you an idea of what it looks like. Again, I haven't seen one of these in person. Looks pretty nice. Has a couple little indents here so you can easily remove it from the wall. Now with the box aside, we'll go ahead and take a closer look at the Vision Pro itself. So this is the first time I've seen this band. So in order to tighten it, what we do is we'll just take the sticker off here. In order to tighten the back, it looks like you just spin this here and it tightens up in the back. And then you pull this out and then it tightens the top. So you can see that here as it snugs up or loosens. So if we pull on it here, you can see that. So again, click it in and it controls the back. Now, this time around, it's heavier than the previous Vision Pro with one exception. The Vision Pro itself from here forward is not heavier, but the band is heavier because it has tungsten counterweights in it. So it helps counterweight it on your head. And of course, I'll have to try this out, see how comfortable it is over time. So that's pretty much everything that's the new Vision Pro as far as the way it looks. If we remove these, you can see everything's pretty much the same as before. So you have your lenses, of course, then you have this attachment, and you can see the overall design with the cloth here. So again, we have our speakers on the side, we've got our attachment for the battery here, and then this clicks on like this, And then of course we can change this out as well. So we've got a W here and then a W plus that was included that I showed you before. If we take this off the front, there's no real difference here other than that we have an M5 inside. So that's what's a little bit different. Now you can buy this band if you have an additional or a regular Vision Pro. You can buy this separately for $99 if you want it. It's definitely fairly heavy and you can feel the weights inside here, or the overall metal that's inside countering the weight. So we'll click these back into place here, just like that. Now, I do want to compare this with the original Vision Pro, as I've had some durability issues you may have seen in previous videos, and I do use it a lot more than I thought I would. So this one I actually purchased because I use it quite a bit. I use it almost every day at night to do notes for videos and things like that, and it really helps me focus. But before we talk about that, this has an M5 chipset inside, so the last one had an M2, and it has a 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU. It also has neural accelerators this time around and hardware accelerated ray tracing, and it also renders 10% more pixels on the micro OLED displays. It allows for sharper images and crisper text. It now has a refresh rate up to 120 Hz for a reduced motion blur, and also, again, as I mentioned before with the battery, is up to 2.5 hours now instead of just 2 hours. So maybe 3 hours of video playback according to Apple, and of course we have that new charger included. So that's pretty much everything new other than the band, but let's compare the old one to the new one. So this is the original Vision Pro, and you'll see I always keep this covered just like this, and this is how I store it. So I've used it regularly, like I said, almost every day lately to sort of do a lot of notes for videos. But on the right-hand side, you'll see that this broke. Now, I'm not sure how this happened. I did travel with it once, so maybe there was something there, but I don't remember it showing that. However, the right speaker is blown as well, so the right speaker doesn't work at all, and I've been using it with this Belkin strap on the top. So this is still available if you don't want to buy this particular band here. You have the knit band on the back. It does have some wear, and this is actually from the chair, not from me. So it has some wear on it. It's actually quite comfortable for me. I can wear it for a couple hours, and you can see the overall wear. This does have a crack in the front. I have no idea how it got there, and this is fairly common for these as well. So there is a crack in the front. Supposedly they'll replace that. I've had no issues with the displays, and like I said, I use it regularly. It's held up fairly well, and I've been using this cover with it. So this overall, like I said, has been pretty good. One other thing I wanted to share is the battery cable. Now this is something you can remove and use the new one on here if you wanted to, or buy another one, but the cable came out of the cloth sheathing for some reason. I tried to fix this and it's just gotten worse and worse. So just wanted to share that. That's an issue I've had with it. And I'm actually quite gentle with my devices. I rarely have issues. I rarely drop them or anything like that. But since I have this issue with it, I'll probably get Apple Care on the other one. I didn't have it on the original, so I still have this issue. I usually use it with AirPods, so it's not an issue, but otherwise everything else is basically the same. Now what I'm going to do is get this set up. So the first thing I'll do, of course, is connect to the power, and then I'll have to set it up and use it for a little bit. I've gone through the setup in a different video. It's the same thing, but I'll set this up, use it, see if it's more comfortable, and see if I notice any differences. So let me try this out for a little bit, and then we'll come back and talk about that. Now, after using it for a couple of hours, the band itself is actually fairly comfortable. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but the adjustment is very nice, where you can unclick it and adjust the top, push it in to adjust the back, and it takes a lot of the weight off of your cheekbones or your nose, depending on the shape of your face. Now, the overall experience, though, is definitely different as well. So this is the home screen of visionOS, of course. So if you haven't seen this, you can just pinch and swipe left and right, but everything's just way smoother this time around. I noticed it immediately coming from an M2. If we want to go to Apple here, of course, I'm sitting outside, so it depends on your overall situation with Wi-Fi. Should be pretty good here, but you'll see, we'll let that load for a moment. We'll just put that over there, and let's go ahead and open this up. And of course, we have widgets and things like that. So maybe I want the batteries widget. We can add the widget here and then just stick it to a surface. So if I want it right there, it will stay and sort of sink in. It's not exactly where I want, so I can press and hold and then move it and then press done. So now my battery's over there. So you have the same sort of experience you do with visionOS, but of course, it's just that much smoother. So going into different applications, swiping through things, scrolling, for example, so we'll bring this back over here. We can scroll through Apple's website. And like I said, it's a little bit slow due to the Wi-Fi connection I have since I'm outside. But overall, it's very smooth. So it's nice to use that way. And then, of course, we can switch to maybe a landscape we want, Bora Bora, for example, and then utilize it this way. Of course, you can hear traffic going by as I'm sitting outside. But normally how I use this is maybe we'll open up Safari again. We'll stick this up here. And then we'll open up the MacBook. So let's open up the Mac, unlock it, give it a second, and then we'll be able to connect to it. So connect, and this is typically how I use it with some AirPods. So now I have an ultra widescreen Mac that I can use here, and my widget didn't snap to Surface, so we'll see if we can get it to snap right there. There we go. So you'll see that we have my desktop of my Mac, and then I have my Safari up here, so maybe I'll have a video playing, or if I want to switch again to maybe a different landscape, I can just do that, and now I'm on the beach. So you can see it lights up my keyboard when I want to use it. If I take my hands away, it sort of goes away, and it's a really nice experience. Now it's just that much faster. So again, we can change this back, and now we're back to where I was before. So again, now here's my desktop, and I can use this with my Mac, of course, no problem. And then, of course, with Safari, I can open up my email, open up something else. Maybe we want to open up mindfulness or music or mail. You can just utilize it like you always would. But again, it's just that much faster, and it's a nicer experience compared to what I had in the previous one. Things work faster, stay connected, and it's like going from Apple Watch version 1 or Series 0 to the next version where things sped up a little bit. Apple figured it out, and this is a lot better. So it's great to be able to use this now regularly, and you'll see I have a notification coming in, and it just keeps you connected. And I use it for a couple hours utilizing craft and things like that to do notes. Now, one thing I've never really used is Persona. So if we go into our settings here, give it a second to load, we'll go into our Persona here, and I just wanted to show you what that looks like. It will unlock using Face ID or Optic ID typically, and this is a bit odd. I need to change it, and you'll see as I move it, the background moves with it, and it doesn't look exactly like me, and it doesn't have the expressions or the smile typically, but it does capture my lip movement, and I can smile, but it doesn't really look anything like me that way. But it's something that they've updated. Of course, I honestly have only used this once ever talking to someone on FaceTime, and it wasn't on a Vision Pro. Now, other than that, battery life has been okay. I used it for a couple hours last night till it drained down to about 15%, and it seemed to last a couple hours without a problem. I typically leave it plugged in when I'm using it, so overall it's hard to say. It seems like it's a little bit better and should get you through a movie or so. I'm not sure if you already noticed, but I am using the lens attachment here with prescription lenses. They work really well, and they're from the Vision Pro 1, so unless you need to update your prescription, they'll work just fine. However, they are $100, so anytime you update your glasses prescription, you would need to update those as well. So that's a bit of a downside, but at least you can use them from Vision Pro 1 if you're upgrading to this one. Now, everything definitely feels faster, seems sharper as far as what you're looking at. There's definitely a noticeable difference there, at least for me. And the experience is improved to what I would expect it to be. The first generation could be a bit laggy for me, sometimes would stutter, other times wouldn't really see what your hands were doing properly, and I would throw windows by mistake and things like that. I found this one to be much better, at least in the few hours I've used it so far. I've probably used it about 2 to 2.5 hours. So it's a much better experience, at least in that amount of time. Now, as far as the developer strap, let's take a look at the first generation one. Since I have that, Apple did release a second generation one that's actually a bit faster as far as the overall specs. It can transfer data faster. So with the first one, if we go ahead and open it up here, we'll test it out and see if it actually works. But with the first generation one, this is a $300 option with this really nice SIM ejector tool. But it's a nice option so you can communicate with Vision Pro. You could reset it if you want to, of course, be a developer. I've had this for a while, and you can just place it on the side of the Vision Pro. The original one was slower at 480 megabits per second. The new version 2 is at 20 gigabits per second, so a significant bump. Maybe we'll get 4K streaming out of it, I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and see if this works. So the way you remove this is actually with this tool here. So let's remove the band here. We'll remove the dual knit band off the top. Let's remove that. And you'll see there's a tiny little hole here, and this will eject that out. So we'll go ahead and place this in here. We'll press, and pull, and then we can remove the speaker on the right side. Now we can place the other one in its place, just like this. It clicks in, it's secure and ready to go. So let's see if we can communicate with it. So hopefully you don't have to buy another one unless you need something specific. Now the Vision Pro rebooted, so let me go ahead and unlock it here. So initially, upon using this, it says limited developer strap connected. The developer strap attached to Apple Vision Pro is not fully supported. Functionality may be limited, and you can dismiss it or don't tell again. With the Vision Pro connected to my MacBook, you can see information about it, such as the Apple Vision Pro capacity, state, as well as the version installed, or iOS or visionOS version. However, I don't have the option to update or back it up. I can go into the apps, profiles, and console, but I can't back it up for whatever reason, and it shows me that information. So that could be one of the limitations to it. So maybe if you need to restore your Vision Pro, you may need the second version of the developer strap. Now, if you're wondering if you should buy an Apple Vision Pro M5, well, that really depends on if you have the first one. If you have the first one, it's hard to really justify the upgrade, but it is super smooth and a nicer experience. However, if you've never used a Vision Pro and you're looking to get your first one, of course, this is a great option. It's super comfortable, but you can get the first one used at this point, so it's hard to say whether or not you can justify the cost. But it is a nice experience when you're watching movies or just using a Mac. It's something different and really nice to use. I really didn't like it at first, but now I actually enjoy it and use it regularly. As far as the future of Apple Vision Pro, well, I think this is probably not the future. I think glasses are the future, and supposedly all development is paused on this, including the next version and the Air. So maybe they're really pushing into the glasses realm. However, I can't imagine fitting all of the hardware that's inside here into glasses. So I'm not sure how they'll do that unless it's through a tether or something like this. But either way, I think the technology is the future, but this form factor I don't think is. But it's still great to use, and with this extra band, really takes that weight off your face and makes it much nicer. Let me know what you think of Vision Pro in the comments below, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.